Hello. The three-day Reading Rock Festival takes place next weekend. Reading used to be known as the Jazz and Blues Festival when it started in the 60s, but this year it's been taken over by heavy metal. Original rock giants like UFO and Deep Purple spin-off Whitesnake are joined on the bill by new bands like Def Leppard and Iron Maiden as the new wave of British heavy metal reaches its crest. This week, 20th Century Box looks at Iron Maiden, a five-piece heavy metal band from the East End, and their fans who ushered in the age of the cardboard guitar. Unlike this copy of a Fender Stratocaster, this programme is in black and white.
20th century. 20th century.
Friday night at the Marquee, and East End rock band Iron Maiden are playing the second of 3 nights at the club. These gigs, at the end of a gruelling concert hall tour covering 40 venues, are by way of a thank you to their delirious fans. Outside in Wardour Street, though, the fans are less than delirious. They have queued for over an hour, only to find that the club is already packed.
I mean, sell out, what is it? 7 to 8 and you can't get in the Marquee?
It's like a new trend, really, like punk was, and new wave and mod is, and like a lot of new bands are coming through, and a lot of them brought out really good singles.
You can go to a punk gig and they're all got spike gear and they're, you know, in their punk gear, or disco freaks with their silly little shoes on, you know, and people see us and they know straight away that you're heavy rockers, like.
If I had £1 for every time I'd seen Iron Maiden, I'd be a rich man by now.
I'm a Lloyd's underwriter, actually.
It's what?
Lloyd's underwriter, I'm.
Do people you work with?
No, I don't like it at all. We insure all this equipment in there.
You do?
Yeah, we insure all that stuff in there.
Is that why you're here, or are you here because you love heavy metal?
Oh, I'm here because I like heavy metal.
I think it's ecstasy at 200,000 watts. It's very simple, but it's enormously enjoyable.
Keep your distance, walk away, don't take it, baby. Don't you stay, don't fade away, yeah. Watch us step peace out to get you come away. Don't you stay, running down the way, yeah.
This kind of atmosphere is typical of heavy metal gigs. Iron Maiden have a devoted and crazy following. Even bass guitarist Steve Harris admits to being astounded by the reaction of the fans.
They do seem to look up the bands. But then I think a lot to do with it is because I think really they like to be up there as well, you know. I think they like to imagine themselves being up on the stage, playing. I think that's probably what it is. I mean, I must admit, you know, when I used to go and see bands before, I always thought, God, you know, I'd love to be up there playing and all that. Now it's a bit weird looking at it from the other side of the fence, if you know what I mean. Like, you're up there playing and crowds all going balmy about you. Like, it's really weird.
So what is actually happening? Is heavy metal really something new, or is it just another name for the hard rock music popular in the early 70s? A lot of heavy metal fans don't like the term revival. They point out that heavy bands like Van Halen and Judas Priest were packing the Hammersmith Odeon throughout the punk rock period. DJ Neal Kay has been playing hard rock for years and doesn't like the label heavy metal.
I despise the term heavy metal. I think a little bit of an explanatory note here, maybe. The actual term heavy metal is an American term, and it's now been obsolete for about 10 years. It was around shortly after the Woodstock Festival, and it is in actual fact a phrase that is nowadays covered in the States by a term high-energy rock. The Americans call it high-energy rock. We used to call it either underground rock, progressive rock, hard rock, or even better for my part, just rock, okay? It's not a new resurgence. Let's establish this fact once and for all, shall we, if we possibly can, as wide across the country as is feasible. Hard rock music never went away.
But if it never actually went away, hard rock certainly became more remote from the audience. Musicians like Eric Clapton and John Lord of Deep Purple may have been technically brilliant, but as their reputations and the venues they played became bigger and bigger, a lot of the excitement went out of rock. Punk succeeded because it put the energy back into music. The new wave of heavy metal, partly a reaction to punk, marks a return to traditional musical values.
For me, I've always looked upon the stage as a much hallowed place, a place of worship for real artists, as I said just before. That doesn't just stem from rock and roll days. To me, Judy Garland was a real artist, Al Jolson was a real artist. People like that gave their all and everything for the stage, and most of them finished up dying for it as well. And in my view, nobody should be allowed to stand on a stage unless they can actually present the total professional thing, unless they really can sing and really can play. Punk was a total anti-attitude towards music.
But punk itself has left a big mark on the new generation of heavy rock bands who play with an energy which is closer to the Sex Pistols than it is to Led Zeppelin. One man who believes there is a new wave of British heavy metal is the Deputy Editor of Sounds, Jeff, known to his friends as Def, Barton.
Of the new bands that have come up, they've certainly been influenced by the new wave and the punk explosion. I mean, they play a lot faster now than Black Sabbath did in 1971. They're much faster, they're much more speedy. And I think also they took a degree of attention from punk in that they recorded, to start off with, they recorded a lot of their independent singles. They didn't rely on the record companies to pick them up and build their career. They just went out, played concerts and formed their own labels and stuck their own singles out.
Iron Maiden fit this description very well. And, like a lot of punk bands, they have stayed close to their audience. Their success has been based up till now on small gigs in pubs and clubs, rather than the large venues of the previous generation. Lead singer Paul Di'Anno regards this as an important part of the band's attitude.
For instance, like when we played the Rainbow, all right, we had some damage done to the seats here, but, you know, what we wanted was the people to get a little bit closer to us, like, because, God, you're so far away from there. That's why we've gone back to doing places like the Marquee now, because the contact is a lot better. Really, I like the smaller venues anyway. I've always agreed with that, and the band's always done it since we ever started.
When the fans are not following Iron Maiden to the live gigs, they can be found at heavy metal discos like Neal Kay's Bandwagon in North London. More than 1,000 heavy metal fans make the pilgrimage to the Bandwagon every week, and getting played there has been important for Iron Maiden in building up a devoted following. But before Kay turned it into the heavy metal soundhouse, the Bandwagon featured disco music 5 nights a week.
It took 5 years, really, of very, very hard work and a lot of persistence to change the whole situation around. These days, as you're well aware, we run 5 nights a week, hard rock, and soul's gone straight out the door, that way, sideways. If I even have atomic scientists, trainee scientists that I know of, that are regular members of this place, that still are into hard rock. But one shouldn't presuppose that just because one is a headbanger that one has only one sort of situation in life. That's totally false. They come from all walks of life, and most part they're totally honest people.
Heavy metal may attract fans from a wide range of backgrounds, but they are mainly male and overwhelmingly white. 2 of the regulars at the Bandwagon Disco are wedding photographer Rob Loonhouse and road mender Alan Day.
You find very few women down the front, you know, actually headbanging. You know, they're quite content to stay at the back and, you know, sip their orange, you know, and listen to the music.
Do you think women make good headbangers?
It's very difficult, really, you know, because a lot of women, you know, they don't really have it in them. You know, you find very few women digging holes in the road, you know, so maybe that's one of the reasons why, you know, there's very few women headbangers.
With attitudes like that, especially towards women, reflected in a lot of heavy metal lyrics, maybe it's not surprising that women don't flock to see bands like Iron Maiden. Even the clothes have an aggressive look about them. Patched denims are worn with leather jackets and shiny metal studs, but the uniform has more in common with football fans than with punks, mods or even skins.
If you go wearing a suit or a tuxedo, it's going to look bleeding ridiculous. People like to wear their hair long and wear leather. It's more comfortable, you know, it's easy going. And if you get messy, you know, someone throws a beer over you, you don't have an argument, you say, OK, you know, sorry about that, I'll buy you a pint.
Headbanging is to heavy metal what the pogo was to punk. And at the Bandwagon, the mouthful of safety pins has given way to a recurring symbol of rock fantasy, the homemade imitation guitar. Loonhouse built his first guitar in response to a challenge to decide the headbanger of the year.
Still, this guy comes up to me and he says, you don't mind if I bring a Gibson body along? He hasn't got no strings or pickups or anything like that on it. He's just, you know, body and a neck. So I go to him, bring what you bleeding like along, mate. Bring an orchestra if you like. Still, anyhow, I got to thinking, you know, this bloke's got the edge on me, you know, he's got a guitar, you know, this is going to stick in people's minds. So I thought to myself, well, make a cut out. So I got a couple of bits of hardboard together, traced out the outline of a flying V, and there it was. It started from there.
Why the flying V, particularly?
Well, I only had a couple of days to do it. It was all straight lines and it's easy to cut out.
Do you go into detail on them? I mean, stuff on the actual thing?
First of all, you know, the first one, you know, it was very rough, you know. I cocked the neck up, the neck was too wide, you know, the body wasn't big enough. On the latest one at the moment, I've got the neck right, I've got the body right, I've put a tremolo on it, I've put a couple of bits of sticky tape on it, you know, brighten it up a bit, you know. So from a distance, it does look a bit like a real guitar, you know.
Has it got frets on it?
Oh, no, I don't bother with frets, you know. I think it's taking the piss a bit, really, you know, when you put frets on it, you know, you're making it look too much like a real guitar. It's supposed to look like a guitar, but it's not really supposed to look like a real guitar, you know. You know, it's only supposed to be kind of like a harlequin of a real guitar, you know, just an image.
How many have you made?
I've got about 3 at home at the moment. I've got a V, I've got a twin neck V, I've got an inverted V which I made specially, which is a bit of a flop really. In all I've made about half a dozen. progressively getting better all the time.
If the heavy metal boom is being taken seriously by the fans with their imaginary guitars, it's certainly causing a stir in the offices of the record companies. Iron Maiden was signed to EMI last year, but when they formed in 1976, punk was what was selling. And as Steve Harris explains, when the band were first offered a recording deal 4 years ago, they were told punk was what they had to play.
But they want us to get us to cut our hair and all that sort of thing. And, you know, we just said, well, no way, because it's not what we want to do, you know. And they want us to play more commercial music. So, you know, I mean, it was, people say, oh, you know, was it easy to, or hard to sort of just turn down a deal or anything like that. But it's not hard to do something when you don't like what you're going to have to do, sort of thing, you know. It's just not hard to stick to your guns if you're into what you're doing, you know.
After that first offer, Iron Maiden decided to take action. They sent a demo tape to Neal Kay at the Bandwagon, and when the tape began to feature in the chart which Kay compiled from fans' requests, the band decided to take the next step and release it on their own label, Rock Hard Records. Finally, the major record companies woke up to the selling power of heavy metal, and the band signed with EMI. Their first album went straight into the charts. But since '76, record sales overall have declined, and although the companies may see heavy metal as a way out of their current recession, they are using increasingly desperate publicity stunts to promote the new sound. Jeff Barton thinks the hype may have gone too far.
Yes, I think the record companies are promoting this so-called heavy metal revival very crassly and very badly. For example, one record company made the offer of giving away a free cardboard guitar with every album purchased. And they're like marketing it like it's soap powder at the moment, really. It was all very well when heavy metal was popular on the grassroots level, and the kids used to go out and get a bit of hardboard and hack it into the shape of a flying V and just do it because they wanted to do it. But it's been reduced to a mindless trend now when you've got cardboard guitars ready-made for you and you can go in a shop and get one free with every purchase of such and such an album. It's completely ridiculous, and I think it ruins all the sort of novelty of it and the genuine good times and the actual interest that was there at the beginning. I think it's going completely over the top, really.
Still, provided they can survive the hype, Iron Maiden are on the verge of becoming a very successful band.
So good. Iron Maiden.
Next month they start a European tour, and there are plans for them to tour the States. Aren't they on the way to becoming superstars like the previous generation of heavy rockers?
I don't think so, really, because like we've been slogging away for a long time. You know, I mean, right, I know we've gone from playing clubs to concert halls in about sort of 6 months, which is a big jump. But then again, the band's been going about like 4.5 years. We've done a lot of groundwork, and you don't forget things like that, you know. So I don't think it'll sort of go to our heads, if that's what you mean. You know, we still keep a good contact with the audience. You know, when we come out after gigs, we always sign all the autographs and like meet them all and that, you know, sort of really. Well, we go out of our way to keep in with them as well, you know, because we just like talking to them and that, you know.
We just made one little tiny crack, really. I mean, we got loads of work to do. I mean, all right, we can sell out most of the major venues in Britain. We got the rest of the bleeding world to go. Yeah, we got to start all back on square one again.
Rock and roll! Come into my room. I want to show you all my wares. I just want to see your blood. I just want to stand and stare. See the blood begin to flow. As it falls upon the floor. I made a camp before. I made a camp before now.
Meanwhile, miming to the music is as close as fans like Rob Loonhouse will ever get to stardom. We asked Loonhouse why he didn't get himself a real instrument and learn to play.
I'm now 23. In the rock business, it's getting on a bit, you know, 23. To become really competent at the guitar, you've got to play it for about 5 years, you know, before you come reasonably competent, and you've got to be pretty competent to play rock music. So, say it would most probably take me until about 30, you know, before I've really become competent. So really, I've left it a bit late.
So in the future, do you see this as a lifelong thing now, or
Yeah. You know, I'm going to make a business of being a headbanger, because that's what I'm good at, basically.
20